speak, question, and think.
Timey-Wimey Tea Time.
And we're back. TWTT, second half, hour 2 of Going Deeper. You just heard before the little hero instrumental / cover song, you heard Yuri from the Ukraine talk about his major qualms with the Doctor in Series 8 and how he for one will not be allowing his children to listen or watch the show. He doesn't want them to have anything to do with the show. And this is a sentiment we're seeing quite a bit from our community, the Whovian community and the TWTT community as a whole. And can't say I blame anyone. This has not been a series that's had too much redeeming value, shall we say. And I agree. The Doctor really needs to take on his role as a man. He's not even a man. Man and women alike have been saying that. He's not being very manly, and that's bad. And I don't mean manly like, crushing beer cans on his head and picking his belly button, scratching his genitalia. I suppose for some that's manly, but he's not taking responsibility. He's not much of a role model. He's being petty. He's being, I don't want to say a girly man, but he's definitely not. He's being unmanly. Let's just say he's being unmanly. He's being a little kid. He's being a boy. Or a little girl, whichever way you want to say it. He's immature. And, frivolous, shall we say. So, I hope everybody had a chance to ponder what a hero is. We've seen what a hero is not, right? So let's, you have anything to add to that, Stan?
No, you did a great job.
All right. And Yuri's English is very good. He made some very powerful points, despite the fact that, English is not a native language.
Right.
One thing I have to say about Europe, and even parts of Asia, is that the fact that they make English a required course that's powerful. I think we need to language arts more into the core curriculum for U.S. education. It's important to be bilingual or
yes.
Polylingual.
Yes, it is. It's a small world.
It is. But, I guess we have the arrogance of saying, well, English is spoken in most of the world, so why do we need to meet them in their language, on their turf? So, let's talk more about Series 8 before we reflect upon what Yuri had to say. Because I think we could speak about that. And we have been talking about those themes, those issues, those shortcomings, on and off throughout our short series. I mean, we're still a fledgling of a podcast, but that's been something we've looked at a lot. The lack of a hero right now, a protagonist we can identify with, a good role model, a manly man. So many things are lacking. He's a fun character, the Doctor, right now, but it's not who he's supposed to be. I appreciate new direction, but there's something missing. There's a big void.
Well, they're tearing him down, just like you said.
So here we are. I'm sipping on my coffee there. We're in the middle of Series 8. 6 episodes down, 6 to go. And then there's the Christmas special, which sometimes it's a side story and sometimes it's a major portion of the story. I think as of late, the last 2 or 3 have been important episodes that have...
Hopefully it's not a regeneration.
Oh, gosh.
Hopefully for Capaldi.
No, it's too soon. Well, regardless of how you feel about the 12th Doctor, we need to ride this out for better or worse. We need to, at least for another season, and I think they will because Moffat has already admitted that he has most of Series 9 put together, so he has some plan for everything that they've been building up. I hope it's a good one.
He needs to rewrite it all after he listens to Timey-Wimey Tea Time.
Just reboot Series 8. Oh my gosh. There's some quality there, but they need to go back a lot and fill in a lot of gaps. But so 12th Doctor has not fully manifested himself as a hero, not the hero that we've come to know him to be. He hasn't been tested. He hasn't faced hardship and pain, and he isn't bringing the treasure and boons home to us. We're going back to the Joseph Campbell definition of of hero. Monomyth is what
exactly
he coined. Yeah, it's a tall order. I mean, I wouldn't even say he has to fulfill all those aspects. Just meet us halfway. He's not even halfway there right now. That's bad.
Right.
So far, Series 8 has led us down a dark road where the Doctor has been losing our admiration, trust, enthusiasm, and support. And again, this was intentional, not an accident. Stephen Moffat, the architect, he's the real architect, has a plan which we, if we're lucky, may only discover episode by episode. Right now, I don't know. It feels like we're just running in every direction. And no real discovery, no real revelation. But, we've talked about, the mouth garbage, and I think there is an unintended lesson there for us. And we'll come back to that. But there are other things going on in Series 8, like robots and other antagonists, like Missy in the Promised Land. That's the big stuff. Then there's the little stuff, like Where's River Song? Will Courtney Woods join us on a journey, or is she just another disposable character? Those throwaway characters. What about, Skovik's Blitzer? What about him? I think he might be a throwaway character. He could be big, but why does it have to be a robot?
He's just going to be a Christmas toy.
Yeah, that's gonna happen. They're gonna shrink him, and he's gonna turn into a toy.
Yeah, and they're going to sell him at Christmas.
Oh gosh, man, that'd be funny and terrible at the same time. Then there's the whole Clara and Danny Pink thing. We'll revisit the relationship thing at a later time. Maybe in our Timey-Wimey Tea Time extras, or TWTT XYZ, or as Stan loves to put it, Ziz.
No.
All right, so big stuff. Let's bring it all together. Big stuff. We're gonna talk about robots, Missing in the Promised Land, mouth garbage. Yes, we're gonna talk more mouth garbage. We'll try not to beat a dead horse. But then little stuff. Where's River Song? I think there's something important there. I think we kind of need her now. We actually need her. And then Courtney Woods and Skovik's Blitzer. So, all right, big stuff. Here we go. Robots, cyborgs, and artificial intelligence. So we talked about this. 4 out of 6 episodes have been about robots or cyborgs. Robots and cyborgs we're seeing in Doctor Who Series 8 are intelligent, self-conscious machines that have purpose and ambition. Arguably more than a Doctor right now. Some are completely machine-like, like Skovik's Blitzer and Robin Hood. I see what you did there, Stan. Stan likes to give me suggestions on what to discuss, and then I sometimes just unwillingly and unsuspectingly take him up on that offer. That was one of those situations. But others are a mashup of machine and organism, like the Daleks and the purported suicide from the first episode. There's been at least a couple of sacrifices. I think that's another theme we should bring up again. The whole matter of sacrifice and how you get to the Promised Land. So what else do they have in common, Dan?
Well, generally speaking, they all lack moral virtues, such as love, compassion, goodness. There's no data from, Star Trek's Next Generation. That's missing. So all of these robots and cyborgs, Robin Hood being the exception, they lack the capacity to consider the dignity of other life forms, intelligent or otherwise. But there is one exception. Even the 12th Doctor himself is reluctant to consider their dignity as persons. For example, the doctor's cunning plot against Skovok's Blitzer offers no hope for the robot. None. And that's kind of out of character for the doctor because in this episode, the doctor intended to blast him into the future and kill him. And he says, he'll get billions of years into the future and die, which is weird. The doctor doesn't do that. So I don't know if Moffat or any of the writers are really thinking deeply about the meaning of artificial intelligence or artificially enhanced intelligence, because there's very little complexity to the plots involving the robots and cyborgs. The tension is in the action, not in the intellectual and moral complexity of the dilemma. I know there's that Star Trek episode where they actually ponder whether Data is the property of the Federation or if he is his own person. So anyway, in this way, Doctor Who is kind of failing to push the limits of our imagination, and that means it's failing to be great sci-fi. The exception, of course, is Psy from the Time Heist episode. And the irony is that the Doctor is more dubious than Psy in that adventure.
And Psy, I think they thought about it more because they were forced to, because he was clearly more human than anything else. He was maybe 10% robot, you could say, or 20%, but he was clearly human.
Right, but his brain was like a Dalek. His brain was, mostly machine.
Yeah, he was able to erase select memories on command and all that.
Exactly.
I didn't catch the part about. This honestly was one of these episodes I did not feel compelled to watch again, which is sad to say. It might be the first one in the series I felt that way. I kind of just went on to watch some anime after I watched it once. I watched it again a little bit here and there to catch certain things that I know I missed, but I was a little disappointed. But it's also partly a big thing for me is that I feel like I'm tired of seeing, the UK. No more Scotland, no more England, no Ireland. Get away from that whole area. Get away from the islands and the surrounding islands and just go somewhere else. Or at least pretend you went somewhere else.
They need tourists, dude.
They need what?
They need tourists. They got to support their economy.
Yeah, and I appreciate that because people want to come watch the filming and everything. But from a storytelling perspective, it's like, here's a character that could travel all of time and space, but he's always drawn back to the UK. And I get it, he has a fetish for the UK, but I think we're getting to a point where I don't feel that's enough reason for him to stick around. Like, why do all the plots that could threaten the whole world or the whole universe happen in the UK? Like, that it's getting to a point where I can no longer suspend my disbelief there, and it's a hard pill to swallow for me. Beyond that.
What does Andy have to say about that?
Yeah, right. Well, he wants to move over to the States.
He wants to come here. I know.
Claudia in the house. Welcome. Just in time for the second half. We're just getting warmed up. But I don't know. I feel like when I watched it, I didn't get the sense that Skovik's Blitzer was like a real sentient being. I don't know if they wrote him that way or it's just how I felt. Like, I felt like he was someone that if he quote unquote died, I wouldn't feel bad about it or conflicted about it. Right. Whereas other villains, there is that conflict. It's like, one evil does not justify another. And I didn't catch that he said the actual word "kill him," or death or dying. I didn't catch that. I thought he just said he just wanted to blast him to the future where he won't bother anyone, because there was no other way of stopping him. That's why he wanted to blast him into the future. So I thought it was a peaceful resolution. Mm-hmm. Moreover, this is a robot that only exists to destroy. The moment anyone gets close to him, he's like, you know, he scans you, and then his resolution for everything is solution, destroy.
Right.
And it was
but that's that. So they tried to show us that he does think, even if he thinks poorly.
I don't know if I could buy it. That's less thinking than even the Daleks have more. They have conversational skills, and they fall into the whole trope of when villains discuss their evil plans in full instead of just killing the heroes.
Right.
That's one of the oldest tropes. It's like, and then that creates the opportunity for the hero to save the day or the heroes to save the day. This robot here only existed to destroy. More so than the Daleks. There's nothing more to him. I didn't feel that depth or that real thought process. It's more like a cheap algorithm. Scan, identified, destroy. It was like a watered down Dalek. Instead of saying exterminate, it was like destroy.
Right.
It was very, very weak. And this is why I said, during our last show, they need to really expand the universe. These villains are becoming more and more flat, and they can't keep recycling these old ideas. The fanfare is great. I appreciate that. But we need something new.
Right.
It's a freaking vast universe. Why can't we have more? So, enter Missy and the Promised Land. And this is kind of one of our hopes this is one of the things we're kind of clinging on to right now. At least I am. And I'm hoping they'll do something big with this. So, Paradise is not just a garden. It has corporate offices and intake counselors too. They help you get situated.
Yeah.
They get you proper, attire and everything, Give you a nice little pamphlet.
You think you get a free Starbucks card too?
You might. You need to have some good beverages.
Oh yeah.
At least some good teas. I'm a big fan of the what is that that very obscure Asian fruit, the lychee.
Yes.
Oh, I love that stuff. You put the little cubes, diced lychee in the tea, and make it a frothy tea drink.
That sounds nice.
Oh, it's nice. There's this
You know what's great about lychees is they're so refreshing and quenching. I don't know why.
Yes. And it's something you want to really savor. You want to just enjoy and take your time with it.
Yes.
So it's a perfect beverage to sit down with someone and have tea time with. Look at that. That's what I'm missing. I need some of that. It's kind of hard to come across where I'm at here in Georgia. In New York City, not so much. It was a little easier.
They got sweet tea in Georgia.
Yeah, sweet tea is good, but it doesn't have the complexity and the range in flavors. But you take what you can get. I like sweet. I have a sweet tooth, so I like it. Me gusta. So so cyborgs and people rather. You could say they're equal. But what else?
Promised Land.
In the Promised Land, yes.
Right.
We could say they're equal, and
that's kind of weird. Isn't it?
In the Promised Land, they're definitely equal because they die and they go to heaven. That's what they're making us think, but they're not outright saying that. So that part, like when you see the cyborgs end up, in this place, whatever we want to call it, we're like, huh, really? What is that all that we know? Is that all they're gonna show us so far? I mean, we're halfway through the season. What's really going on here?
So we know that Missy suggests she knows the Doctor very well, perhaps intimately. We know that the robots from Deep Breath and Robot of Sherwood episodes sought paradise with single-minded determination, and we know that they failed to get there physically in their spaceships. We also know, spoiler, not really, maybe, that the eccentric American director Rachel Talalay will be directing the final 2 episodes of Series 8, which might wrap up the Paradise arc. Otherwise, it's wait and see.
But she's directing it, but it's they're both Moffat scripts, and I don't think he let anyone else help out on those, or at least they're not credited. So
I predict a fight.
Yeah. So moving on. So mouth garbage. Let's talk about this again. So it's interesting that the episode's title, "The Caretaker," suggests a person who takes care of things. In fact, we sometimes use the term for someone who provides care for the disabled, or the elderly or an injured person. Now, beyond Clara, however, the doctor doesn't seem to really care about anyone else in particular, especially not stupid little humans. And that actually comes from a quote, which is sad. He even has a sign that reads, "Go away, human." This is in his little supply closet / storage room / office. And then, we got to come back to it, the PE thing. Before we come back into it, Claudia, the groovy Claudia, says, regarding the UK location, I think we need to just get used to it. That's it. It would not make sense why the doctor is not choosing another favorite location. Oh, and he is a Time Lord. He can do whatever he wants, which means choose the UK. So in short, as this is what I take away from that. In short, the UK equals the world and possibly the universe. All right, I'll accept it, I guess, for now. Begrudgingly, but I'll accept it.
It's too expensive, man.
Yeah, but it can make sets. They can make cheap sets that,
No, it's too expensive to visit the UK.
That's true. For them, it's not because they're already there.
Right.
But, I'm sure other countries would give them kickbacks for filming on location and attracting tourists.
To tell Claudia, I mean, I'm still angry about the UK because I once, yes, it was Hyde Street, but I had a breakfast. I paid for a breakfast for poor people, which included pots of coffee, pots of tea, fresh squeezed orange juice, eggs and bacon and toast. And it was $400, and I'm still angry about it.
Oh, man. I would say London and maybe the greater London metropolitan area and like Japan. When I hear how much the things cost there, I'm like, how do people live there?
I'm still angry about breakfast in Kyoto. $50 for 1 cup of coffee and 1 piece of toast. And that was 20 years ago.
Yeah, dude. And well, Kyoto and Tokyo, they're like the big, major cities there. Like, that's tourist trap city, basically.
Exactly.
So you're going to pay the premium there. But still, like, even other places in Japan, I hear stories from friends over there. And it's like, wow. Like, things we take for granted, like, we kind of come to expect to pay $10 to $20 for a DVD, right?
Right.
But I'm hearing, 30, 40 pounds for a DVD. And in Japan, what is it, like 30, 50,000 yen? I've heard 50 or 60,000 yen, which is like what? If my conversion is right, it's like $50 or $60. They have some really insane conversion rate. Like 1,000 should sound like a lot, but it's like $1.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's 100. I forget. But it's still something insane. Like, the scale is just ridiculous. But, anyway. First world problems, I guess. So here's the whole PE thing coming back to light. Danny says, "How stupid do you think I am?" That's pretty much the tone he says it with. And then the doctor replies, "I'm willing to put a number on it." I'm sorry, but that's I know it's wrong, and I know it's out of
mouth
character.
garbage, man.
It is mouth garbage, but it was funny. And I don't want it to reflect poorly upon me as a person, but it was funny. Okay, let's be honest. Danny Pink is being petty too, and I as Grace, I'm a forgiving person. You know this about me, Stan, and most of you guys that know me for long enough know that I'm like that. But pettiness is something that does get to me after a while, And I'm not a competitive person. If you want to think you're better than me, here, there you go. You are better than me. I'm not going to argue with you there. I'm garbage. There you go. We're done. Argument's done. The competition's done. I'm a piece of crap. Now we don't have to compete. But Danny Pink keeps trying, and then they keep bumping heads. I'm like, I don't like this. This is back to the whole Robot of Sherwood thing with Robin Hood and the Doctor being little kids and playing footsies. For Pete's sake, come on. It's cute for a little while. You just do it in small doses. This shouldn't be the brunt of their characters, but it is. So yeah, more mouth garbage, And we talked about the mouth garbage. It's, it's a lot of lies and deceit. It's insecurity, It's people putting themselves above in front of others. It's selfishness. That's really the best way to describe it. That's what usually drives mouth garbage, because we get so immersed in our own problems and our own being, our own issues, that we can't see beyond ourselves. And the other person might think their problems are more important or their needs are more important. So until we can stop and go beyond ourselves and see where the other person's coming from, the other people are coming from, we're not gonna curb the mouth garbage, because we're gonna feel like we've been, done wrong, and we're gonna defend ourselves.
Right.
And it's impulsive, immature behavior. So what are the different kinds of mouth garbage? Mouth garbage comes in different forms. Yeah, excessive talking. I'm kind of guilty of that. I'm a talker. But I like to listen to people too. I like to think I'm a good listener.
do. You are a good listener.
So I appreciate that, bro. Careless words. I think we're all guilty of that sometimes. Gossip. That's one I work really hard on, because when I hear other people gossip nowadays, it actually bothers me a lot. Like, especially when I know it's something they would not tell that person to their face.
Right.
I understand sometimes you have to let off the valve and let steam out. But the endless gossip, like, oh, they think they're so good. Oh, look at them dressing that way. That outfit doesn't look good. Oh, I can't stand that. It really gets to me. Lying. I think everyone has a problem with this, but even the people, sometimes, especially the people that have a big problem with lying, are the biggest liars, which is ironic. Slander, defamation of character, flattery, that could be bad too when it's insincere, or when maybe the compliments might be sincere, but you have a hidden agenda. That makes it inauthentic. Hasty speech, again, you speak or act before you think. That's important you gotta recognize that. Contempt, hatred, self-deprecation. Curses. People still curse in this day and age. They may not realize it's a curse, but there's power in words, folks.
Yes, there is.
And I believe in self-fulfilling prophecies, regardless of what your beliefs are, in the spiritual and the greater powers at work. The things we think and the words we speak, they perpetuate things.
They do.
Evil invitations and counsel. I might say false counsel.
Yes.
When you provide counsel to someone, but you don't really care about the issue. You just want some dirt on them, some ammo. That's bad.
Yeah.
And that's why it's scary to let people in. But last but not least, mouth garbage also comes in the form of evil instructions and orders. And people love to give orders. There are lots of managers in the world, not that many leaders.
True.
So maybe the doctor does care about people. I like to think he does, deep down inside. I've seen some gleaming sparkles of hope from his character. But not enough. That should be a majority of who he is, not the smallest little inkling of who he is. It needs to be a bigger part of his being. If he does care, why the lippy disservice? Does the doctor's tongue need healing? What's up with that? What's going on here?
So does the doctor really care? Because we all know that what we say, good or evil, it's really what's in our heart. There's a saying, out of the overflow of the heart, the mouth speaks. And actually, earlier in the show, you were talking about, how you restrain yourself because you have things in your heart that you don't want to put out there. So obviously, mouth garbage is not just something that happens. It's a reflection of our own thoughts and feelings, and it's a reflection of our confusions and misunderstandings and prejudices that are kind of hidden in our unexamined heart. Mm. It's like there's dangerous wilderness in us, and the wisdom of the ages strongly argues that we each have to kind of make these wild things captive to reason and love. That's a capital R and a capital L. Sometimes I think about that, the greatest violence of all is not war. It's the violence of the mouth. Because it's like the mouth is the source of more injustice, pain, hatred, and rejection than anything else. It does more damage than nuclear bombs. A word of fear can break the whole world. It's like, just a little gossip and some bad humor can cause a stock market to crash. Or, there's the words that order human beings into ovens. A word of hate or contempt, as we saw with the Nazis, it became a death order in the blink of an eye.
I definitely hear you, man. When we shared our fears, I missed our discussion of episode 4. Was it Silence?
Yes.
We talked about fears, and I said one of my biggest fears is being misunderstood.
Yes.
And there's certain degrees to that. I mean, everybody gets misunderstood every day, but I hate being in a place where I know what my intentions are, and I know that I measure my words and try to make a consistent effort across everything I do, online and offline, to create an image and really show people what I'm about and what I hope to accomplish, what my life's work is, what I feel is my purpose and my calling is. But then when someone comes around, especially someone close to me, and tries to tell me, this is what you're doing, this is what you're about, and it's not even like, this is how it struck me, or this is how you made me feel, or be wary of this. It's an automatic accusation. Oh, that burns me up. And usually my response, if just to avoid attacking back with mouth garbage, I'm gonna, say thank you, possibly forever, or for a very long time, at least.
And I did that to you this week. I'm sorry, man.
I wasn't hinting at anything. I wasn't.
Yes, well, but you made me feel guilty.
I'm sorry. I wasn't.
No, don't be sorry, because I kind of jumped the gun and I overreacted, and I sent you a little email, and you responded perfectly, dude. You didn't escalate the situation. You didn't even reply with mouth garbage, even though I definitely laid out some mouth garbage. So thank you, dude. Thank you for being patient with me.
It's all right, bro. I mean, now it's convenient because I could poop from 2 different places. You guys read between the lines with that. I'm sorry, I couldn't help myself. That was a little bit of mouth garbage, but it was meant to be funny. I hope you find it funny. That was a well-intended quip, so to speak. That's the right word I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Did it tickle you? If it tickled you, then I succeeded.
It did. It did.
Good. But just a heads up, if you guys watch my vlogs on Sundays and Mondays, I have my personal vlog and then my Geeky Antics Network vlog, respectively. I usually have talking points, but I'm very stream of consciousness. So I just kind of speak straight from the heart, and I don't measure my words as well. Like, usually when I write, I'm very careful to choose the right words, because say, well, if I write that word, if I write that phrase, someone might read between the lines. So then that's why I'm so verbose, because I'm always sure, like, let me be a little more literal, so that no one can try to read that out of context. With video and audio, it's a little harder to do that. So you might say something, and you might have every good intention in the world, but someone else might have a bad experience with that. Like, I might say the word moist. Oh, this cake is very moist. And then a lot of people have a problem with the word moist. I've noticed that. And it's like, it makes them feel dirty and they're uncomfortable with it. But that's the best word for it. The cake is moist. It's not a dry cake. It's a moist cake. But if some people hear that word, they're like, oh, stop it. I've actually gotten like nasty grams for people when I use that word. Like, stop using that word. It really bothers me. Again, hypersensitivity.
Yeah.
You have to kind of stop, and you might have bad experiences with things. I don't know. I like eggplant, but I might talk about eggplant, and then someone might say, "Oh, I used to get flogged to death, practically to death with the eggplant, so I have a big problem with that word. So now I automatically hate you." Well, give me a chance. I didn't know that about you. So I can't accommodate everyone. That's when you have to. I said again this earlier. You have to stop, breathe, take things in, try to see the other person's point of view, taking the world,
Exactly.
you know, and give people the benefit of the doubt. That's one way, probably one of the most effective ways to curb the mouth garbage.
So I think the unintended lesson of the caretaker is that the world can never be a better place, not until we've tamed our tongues. But I believe we can tame and heal our tongues. And first, we have to stop making excuses for mouth garbage. Maybe we have to apologize, like I just did to you. We have to admit we do it and that it's wrong. We have to stop misrepresenting mouth garbage as something entertaining or useful or worthwhile in its expedience. Because mouth garbage is not a joke. It's not a little thing. It's kind of self-destructive and self-betraying.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've said this before too. You know, forgiveness is for you, not for the other person. It
Yes.
frees you. It frees your soul. It frees your heart. It frees your mind. So you can move on and do goodness, do worthwhile things. Because not forgiving will only destroy you. A lot of times we hold on to that, you know, that gripe, that grudge, and we think that we're punishing the other person. But 9 times out of 10, people move on with their life. They're not thinking about what they did wrong. They're going on, and the only person you're hurting is yourself.
Yep.
And sometimes it's not until you forgive them that they realize they did something really bad. Because they're like, "Wow, you've had that burning with you this whole time. I didn't think it was that bad, or I forgot all about it." Again, because most of us just keep going on and impulsively until, you know, we don't realize what we did wrong until it's too late. But,
Right.
you know, let us know what you think about all these things. It's very important topics here. And, you know, I would also go to say this unintentional lesson here about taming the tongue. It might explain why we're seeing a bit of a cyclical season. Like, it's like the same kind of things happening over and over again. And I like parallelism, but, you know, it's like we need some freshness. Maybe the reason we feel like we're stuck in Series 8 as far as the storytelling goes is because there's no real resolution. And maybe that's intentional too, because the core issues, the root causes, are not being addressed.
Right.
So that's a good catch, bro. Me gusta.
All right.
Let's go on to little stuff. So where is River's song? I like this. So the doctor mentions River's song to Clara, and I brought this up during our conversation earlier in the week. You know, and it's in our community caught this too. The doctor says to Clara, in reference to River's song, you know, he says, "I lived among otters once for a month. Well, I sulked. River and I, we had this big fight." Now it's kind of interesting the way he says it, because he says it in a manner that almost makes it seem like he's personifying an actual body of water. You know, I don't know. Maybe I'm stretching. Maybe it's a reach. It's kind of ambiguous the way he says it. You don't know 100% it's River's song, but we know it's River's song because we have the prior knowledge as the audience. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think that the folks that were there caught that illusion. Isn't that called situational irony, basically?
Yeah.
When only one character is privy to something,
Exactly.
or no characters at all. So
Well, so you know, they threw that out for, I don't know, it was bait, man.
yeah, it might just be like throwing a dog a bone. So maybe we should not even hold on to that. A little morsel of hope. But, you know, it could make way for a near future appearance of River's song.
So if they bring River Song back, will River fix the broken doctor?
See, now I would think River's song would be an excellent character to bring into the story. I think she would serve far more purpose. Before, I still felt like I enjoyed her, but I felt she was kind of tacked on as a value-added thing. And I think she kind of took away from the Pawns. It was almost, to me, at points, redundant to have her on the show. But now that they've built her up, they could do meaningful things with her, and they should, to really, you know, round out her character. So I think she could fix the broken doctor and the broken show.
Yeah.
Definitely. So another little item here. Courtney Woods. I guess we should say little person. So most of us assume from teasers and spoiler reviews that Courtney Woods will be in tonight's episode, Kill the Moon. It looks like she's an adult. Courtney's presence in the second episode, or many more, doesn't resolve questions about the racial attitudes of the Doctor Who writing team, as represented in the Doctor's mouth garbage and the Caretaker. It would take making Courtney into a heroic time agent and giving her a grand title to transform the hateful mouth garbage into a forgivable faux pas. Or faux pas. Faux pas. I always get that.
Yep.
Faux pas. So, by the way, faux pas, that's French, right?
Yes, it is.
Make sure I got my etymology right. That's something people throw out a lot, but they don't even know where it comes from in language.
Some people don't even know what it means.
And we're gonna tell you because we don't want to be like all pretentious and hoity-toity. So a faux pas is an embarrassing or tactless act or remark in a social situation. I generally just go for the more vernacular dope.
I like it.
Yeah,
That was good.
yeah. That's what a faux pas is.
Exactly.
So tell me, Stan, what titles and D's would you give Courtney? Do you know how to fix things?
All right. I've got an epic title. The Woman Who Saved the Universe Twice with an iced venti hazelnut latte in one hand, both times.
And she's got the sass, so it could be a fun kind of character. We haven't had too many sassy women. We've had angry women, loud women. Well, River Song was pretty sassy and condescending at times. But this is a different kind of sass.
I would like a quiet sass.
A more subdued sass.
Yeah.
I don't think she'd be a subdued sass, though. I think she'd be like Leroy Jenkins style of just kind of jump in blindly and then figure out the rest as she goes along.
At least I had chicken.
There we go. At least I had chicken. Oh my gosh, I love it. So we'll come back to that. But here's the third little thing. Skovok's Blitzer. So before the Caretaker aired, the BBC released promotional images of Skovok's Blitzer's head. And it was pretty epic just to look at him. He looked pretty fearsome by all accounts. It reminded me of an unskinned Terminator.
Yeah. I mean, that
there.
picture was awesome. I loved it.
It was. But again, kind of got our hopes up for no real reason.
Yeah.
The opening scenes, it kills the policeman. Or is he a security guard? I don't think it really matters. I think he may just be like a truancy officer.
Huh. Maybe, yeah.
Because he was giving the kids crap for being outside. Are you from Cold Hill? I think he was just regular cop, but he's just working the beat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's a bobby. Do they still call him bobbies? Bobbies? Whatever. That's older. That's old school. Anyway, moving on. I'm picking Stan's brain, and he's drawing a blank.
I don't know.
I made you to think about that, right?
Yeah.
That used to be a thing.
We have to ask Andy.
Maybe Andy will interject. But so this is pretty gruesome. We see the man's severed hands after he attacks the police officer or whatever he was. Then the doctor tells us that Skovix has enough explosive power in its armory to take out the planet. So this would seem like it's an antagonist worthy of the Doctor,
Exactly.
But Skovix is not OP. It's not very intelligent. It has a funny walk. It can't even shoot a fish in a barrel. It's kind of like... So I think someone in our comments compared him to like a crack addict gangster, like just shooting all crooked and missing everything. He couldn't hit the broadside of a bar, and I was cracking up by the imagery that they set up. It's its logic and language skills, they are remedial at best, and it's true. It's very limited in its range of words and movements and thoughts. It's pretty terrible. What's more, he reminded me of one of those old toys we had growing up. They always had different versions of this toy, but it was always the same thing. The toy would roll around on the floor, and then when it hit something, it'd turn around and go to the other direction, and it would just keep doing that. That's all there was to it, but it was somehow entertaining to us, because back then we weren't spoiled, so we appreciated the simple little pleasures.
Right.
But that's all Skolvix was to me, like this a giant version of one of those little toys, and it's like, oh, that's cute, but that's not really someone that instills fear in me.
Right. So this is the reoccurring problem in Series 8. The antagonist is never a challenge. in the face of the Doctor's knowledge, skills, and resources. In a way, the Doctor's been made into a god. And maybe this happened before Series 8. If I remember right, in the last 6 episodes, the Doctor hasn't taken any serious or disabling injuries. He hasn't bled a river, and no one's knocked him unconscious. I mean, isn't that the easiest way to take down the Doctor? Just knock him out.
Yeah.
So the Doctor's cool. And even though he has memory problems, he conveniently remembers anything he needs to solve one of these big problems. But being OP doesn't make you a hero. If you remember what we said, the monomyth explains the basics of the hero. And that is, why don't you tell us?
So as we said before, a hero must be tested. A hero must make sacrifices and self-denials. And those go hand in hand. A hero must suffer and be seriously set back in their struggle so that they can rise to the greater challenge and triumph over overwhelming odds. And the victory must result in great blessings. That's something that was Isaac from Jamaica was really adamant about. And I think
Yes.
a few other people mentioned the same thing. So we're all on the same wavelength here. So yeah, the victory has to result in great blessings and boons for all of humanity. Or at least, I would say, that's Joseph Campbell's definition, but I would say it needs to be a great victory for more than one person or one small group. It needs to be significant. It has to be a big scale. We're not getting the sense of grandness here. It's kind of tiny, small victories, small problems, small solutions, easy fixes.
Yeah.
And I don't think they're making the Doctor out to be a god. I think it's just like they're shooting peas at him, and he's like, okay, yeah, that doesn't really do anything to me. They're not really challenging him, and I think maybe that's deliberate because that's why he's not really developing, because he's not being challenged, he's not becoming a more well-rounded character. Because there's no need to. It's like, everything's just falling on my lap, so why should I even bother trying? He's got to have a wake-up call.
Yeah.
So Claudia, she's curious if Ms. Delphox, a.k.a. Missy, if she's going to be the new villain, if she's going to be an ongoing thing, pretty much. And I think so. I don't think that we're just going to see the last of her in this series. There's no way they're going to bring something significant in terms of a resolution there, some closure there. And I hope not, because I don't want them to rush it. We're halfway through the season. If they do even a single, one more filler episode, or introduce even one more throwaway, / disposable character, then they're definitely not going to give us a real grand finale. It's just not happening.
Right.
But if you want to join a conversation like all the fine folks here on the twitch.tv/GeekyAntics chat or on allgames.com, then make sure you come join us live, every Saturday, or call in 206-415-4987. And if you're outside the U.S., you could dial 001-206-415-4987. And we got some more comments, guys. Some more delicious comments from YouTube, mostly, looks like. So Let's get right into them. Right off the bat, we have a Spanish one. You like the Spanish ones, don't you?
Man, they're deep.
I know they are. So Stan, he beats me to rounding up a lot of the comments, and I just insert a few of them myself. But he always picks the Spanish ones, because they do go deep. So it just happens to work out that way. Nothing against anyone that doesn't speak Spanish. That's what it is right now. So, hey, that's our challenge to you. You folks in other countries that don't speak Spanish. Go deep with us.
Yeah.
We'll go deep together. So, J. Luis Ramirez says, "Ha notado que las amenazas al mundo se resuelven con demasiada facilidad. Los villanos no son impresionantes. El doctor no puso mucho esfuerzo en la resolución de los problemas. El doctor no sufre. Él no se lesiona. Es como un paseo por el parque." ¿Dónde está la tensión? Oh my gosh. I having trouble reading that because I'm laughing because it's just so true that Mr. Ramirez hit it right on the head here.
Translate, dude.
So have we? He asked, have we noticed any threats to the world, or have we noticed that the threats to the world have been resolved too easily, much too easily? The villains are not impressive. They're not memorable. That's what I like about that word, impresionante. It has a dual meaning. It can mean, memorable or impressive. It's kind of combined. So not really direct translation. So, the villains are neither impressive nor memorable. And that's true, sadly.
Yes.
And, I've been harping on that issue, Stan.
Yes.
The Doctor does not put much effort into the resolution of problems. He doesn't have to. He doesn't suffer. He doesn't. He doesn't get even injured, or not even scuffed up a little bit, or dirtied up. Nothing. He just comes out unscathed. It's like a walk in the park, yeah. And if he closes with the question, where is the tension? Where is the tension? Where's the beef? Where is the beef? I don't know.
That was a great commercial.
It was. I don't know where it's at. And it's a shame. And I want to go really deep on this, but I'm noticing we only got about 25 minutes left. But I'm just gonna say, you said everything we have to say here. Then we should work on that.
Yeah.
Stan?
All right. So next comment. Traver writes, bring BFT, King Deem, and Tiger Claw as guests on the podcast.
So we answered this, and King Deem, BFT, definitely could happen. Tiger Claw, don't hold your breath. He does. The only time he'll join a podcast is if he has Siri speak for him, because he has this weird soundboard thing, and he pulls a Stephen Hawking.
That would be awesome.
Oh my gosh.
I would like that so much. Tiger Claw, are you listening?
I wouldn't mind, actually. I think it's funny. But some of the other hosts on All Games don't like it as much, because sometimes he'll host their shows and stream it for them to help out. And he'll just interject with, how are you? I do not agree with this.
That would be awesome.
Oh, maybe if we could get him like a K9 voice modulator, he could be K9 for us. Dude. Oh, yeah.
Well, how about K9? And there's also, what about, I'm thinking Stargate, the Goa'uld. No, the Goa'uld.
Teal'c.
The Goa'uld.
Teal'c was...
Teal'c was...
he was a Goa'uld.
No, he wasn't.
Well, he was of that race, but he wasn't the evil ones.
Right. No, he wasn't of that race. He was...
Wasn't he?
No, it was a separate human race.
Oh, you're right. There was like the ones that wrongfully worshipped the Goa'uld because they thought they were gods. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. But he's got the Goa'uld OP-ness, though.
Yeah. All right, so this is a shout out to Tiger Claw, man. We want to hear you in the show.
And BFT's a little shy, but he does a great job with his Twitch stream. Make sure you check him out, BFT 9000. That's 90000. And that's B as in boy, F as in Frank, T as in Tom. And King Dean, well, he has to deal with his Hellions during the day. That's his problem. But we wouldn't mind a little background noise. I'm sure our audience wouldn't mind.
That's what I keep telling him.
Yeah. Or if not, we'll do a bonus episode. We'll do a nighttime recording like we've done before. We'll figure out. We're accommodating. And we got like Matt Bradford. People asked about Matt as well. So we'll probably do some Sunday or midweek kind of things. Some extra, some TWTTs. Let me stop. I can hear Stan cringing from over here. TWTT XYZ. That's what we're tentatively calling it, the extra episodes.
All right.
So Claudia says there's
Why not XTC?
Oh, ecstasy. Yeah, we can do that. So Claudia says there's something missing this season. She's not sure if it's the new Doctor, Clara, or weak villains. It could be a combination of all the above. It's just too much missing at once. It's a lot of this stuff has been missing before or off before. But when it's all missing at the same time, that's the problem. It's all too obvious. So next comment here. Justin Cox writes, oh, we're going back to familiar place here. I didn't find anything about you on All Games. It would be nice to see some pictures. Yeah, Derek. Come on, Derek. He's not even here. I don't think so. But it would be nice to see some pictures of Yomar Stan. And we have them now in the video. And some links to your writings would be cool too. So yes, we've had lots of feedbacks about the All Game status, and would definitely motivate Derek H a little further. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Know what I mean? But thanks for noticing the void. It makes us feel loved that you guys notice we're not on All Games. And it bothers us. It bothers Stan probably more than me. Me, I'm like, well, lazy people are lazy people. What did I say that? What?
Was that mouth garbage or just truth?
It was a joke. I didn't mean any harm by it. But time management is something we all have to work on. It's a work in progress for all of us. There's no such thing as being too busy. There is such a thing as focusing too much of your time on the wrong things. It
was interesting discussion about commenting and stuff about blogs last week, and one of the interesting things was Bruce Salon, who's out in LA, and he has a radio show, and he was saying, the interesting thing for him is that successful celebrities always have time to do the right thing. And he was saying, this is not just him recommending it. He's saying that's his actual experience. And he was talking about, Guy Kawasaki. Every time he writes a note to Guy Kawasaki, Guy replies. And he's like, but at the same time, Bruce writes something to an ordinary person and there's like no reply. And it's like, if Guy has time, why don't you?
Yeah. And I love Guy Kawasaki. I'm not a fan of Apple, but I love his work. I mean, he's not with Apple anymore, but that's what people know him from, his tenure at Apple. Now he's a big fan of Google, Google Plus particularly. So he even has an ebook out about Google Plus and how to use it properly. I love the guy. He's but to be fair, I think what happens with a lot of the non-A-listers is we fall into the trap of necessity, and because we're so busy trying to chase the almighty dollar, we don't make the time for anything else. We become obsessed with that. So it's easier for a celeb. I'm not saying that it doesn't still take a consistent effort, but when all you're thinking about is like, how am I going to pay my bills? How am I going to make rent? How am I going to do this? It's hard to come from that place of being more giving because you're so worried by that, and that's it's sad.
But I think it's the worry that's taking up most of the time, not us doing things that we need to do to make it through the day.
That's true. So the challenge is getting yourself in a place where you're doing productive things and not dwelling on that worry. Definitely. So it still comes back to time management. But I'm saying, it is much easier for someone that's already experienced significant success to be able to do that. When you're struggling, it's a much bigger grind. And not to take anything away from Guy Kawasaki, but it'd be nice to also be able to, be able to hire some. Yeah, I'm all right. To be able to hire some assistants.
Take a drink, dude.
Anyway.
Take a drink. Okay, I'll read comment 8. Kayla G writes, I like what Yomar said. The prospect of not being listened to or not being accepted, that hurts. That's deep.
It does, and I gotta go bug it. No, frog in my throat here. Hello. So I brought this up again, and it's a big thing because so many messages are taken out of context. There's messages of hope and beauty and goodness that people share, and then people close their hearts off to it because they don't believe in the messenger. And I think that's wrong too. Like if I share something you know, how to grow your audience or how to, you know, build a stronger brand or, you know, SEO tip, podcasting tip, whatever it might be, and someone says, well, you haven't experienced Kawasaki success, so I'm not going to listen to you.
Which is junk.
It is.
Because in reality, it's not the messenger, it's the message.
It is. That there's a difference between having knowledge and wisdom and is implementing it. There's a massive gap between those two things. That's why success is a marathon, not a sprint. You know, we might have the answers, the solutions, but, you know, doesn't mean we're necessarily implementing them all the time. And that's an opportunity for all of us. And also, I like the whole metaphor of how many surgeons do you know that operate on themselves? And you do with that what you want. I feel that should say everything. But you know, we are running out of time in the main event, but we are gonna go with the post-show, go deeper. But it's time for voicemail.
Yeah.
So
we love the voicemail.
Absolutely. This is we love every part of the show, but this is one of the very fun parts of the show. So keep those voicemail messages coming. All right. We got 3 voicemail messages. Let's just jump right into it. You ready, Stan?
I'm ready. Let's go.
All right.
Let's do it.
Everybody knows that everybody dies, but not every day. Not today. Some days are special. Some days are so blessed. Some days, nobody dies at all. Now and then, every once in a very long while, every day in a million days, when the wind stands fair and the doctor comes to call, everybody lives.
Hi, this is Megan from North Dakota. It sounds like you're in trouble. It sounds like you need help. So I come with blessings. I come to you with words of power and might. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are they which do hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you, and say all manner of evil things against you falsely, for my sake. Amen.
What's that in the mirror, or the corner of your eye? What's that footstep following, but never passing by? Perhaps they're all just waiting. Perhaps when we're all dead, out they'll come slithering from underneath the bed.
That's awesome.
Yeah, a lot of quality there.
I mean, I mean, our community is so awesome. I love the creativity, the heart, you know, and yeah, the courage, you know. They bring it.
They do, and I see Tiger Claw is already up for joining us to do the voice modulation thing. So
Awesome.
I know he's already set up for it too. So if we could get him to get the K9 quality going, that'd be awesome. But yeah, the voicemail messages. So you know, lately I've been noticing folks are particularly responsive to. I guess maybe it's the tone we've taken.
Yeah.
Or maybe this is sense the spirit. You know, there's been some tough things that Stan and I have had to deal with collectively and individually. We try not to bring that funky. I think we always bring a positive vibe, but some of you are just so in tune with the spirit that I think you really, you know, that could be spirit with the S, with capital S or lowercase s, whichever way you want to take it. But some folks, like, I've noticed a lot of encouraging messages, you know, blessings and, like, you don't know, I forgot to share that, actually I should have. But some folks were sharing the long song, and they were saying, this is for Yomar, you know, and...
That was awesome. That was on YouTube, wasn't it?
Yeah, I don't think we ever got to share that message. And I feel like that was a missed
No.
opportunity.
Yeah.
So we'll probably grab that later, but because there was a bunch of people that said it, but to everyone that shared that message, you know, to me and to Stan as well. But it seemed more aimed at me.
Yes, it
Say,
was.
This is for Yomar. I was like, did I say you sad? Did I seem off? Aw. So I went back and I tried to see where I was at, and I'm like, are people just? I'm just feeling the love. I'm gonna take. Love is always good. It's always.
Yeah.
I'll always accept that. But people were like just saying, Yomar, you are strong. You are a hero. You are a warrior. You are the best. I'm like, oh my gosh, where's this coming from? Thank you guys. So thank you. You know, and those voicemail messages I think kept that same spirit going. Well, that one in particular with the blessing, and then
Right.
very good readings there too.
Oh yeah, the everybody dies thing. You know, but when I heard that, it was like, oh man, I miss the other doctors.
Aww.
Because the 12th Doctor is not the doctor that reading represents. So,
yeah.
So it takes me back. I mean, I'm even starting to, you know, really like Matt Smith now. I mean, really like him after this 12th Doctor.
Yeah, you know, and Matt Smith, he brought something different to the role that we haven't seen in a while. He was goofy, but he still had his serious moments.
Yes, he did.
And, you know, there was kind of like some love and innocence in his eyes. You know, there's something special about him. They all, you know, all the doctors since they brought back the series have brought something special.
Sure.
Made the role their own. Even Peter Capaldi, they just haven't written him a good doctor to really shine. He's a great actor. I'm loving him.
So if he's a great actor, why aren't they letting him shape the script?
He probably needs to have like one series under his belt before he can have that kind of push.
Uh-huh.
Because, you know, I think it was the same for Tennant and Matt Smith. You know, they had to have like 1 or 2 seasons in before you could see their influence over the storytelling.
Right.
So, you know, that's part of the same thing here. Is that right? Probably not. I mean, they got to invest in him if they expect him to invest in them and the storytelling. It's got to be a symbiotic relationship there. But, there needs to be some synergy.
There you go.
Oh, there goes my dog being crazy.
Soft kitty.
Soft kitty, yes. Share it with us.
So, as we've mentioned many times, Yomar has a little trouble getting the sleepy time.
That especially holds true now, by the way.
Oh, man, I'm sorry. It's getting worse?
Yeah, but you know, actually, I do listen to the podcast and the voicemail messages as I go to bed. And I've been having really good dreams, so I should tell you something.
Yeah, that's good.
With what little REM sleep I get.
So we're asking everyone in our audience, in our community, to help Yomar out and sing Sheldon Cooper's favorite lullaby, Soft Kitty. Call in and sing your best Soft Kitty in the Geeky Antics voicemail. 3 Soft Kitty singers will get an epic Hearthstone plushie pillow. You, the audience, will choose the winners by poll at geekyantics.net. So when you call in to sing, leave us your name, email address, Twitter URL, or Geeky Antics username. And don't worry, we won't go public with your private information unless you give us permission. Sing your Soft Kitty at 1-206-415-4987. That's 1-206-415-4987.
Yes, and you know, before we go into the Soft Kitty submissions of the week, I want to shout out Claudia again, Groovy Claudia. She has it right on point, and I keep saying the same thing. I'm glad I'm not the only one who sees this, because she says, in my humble opinion, the 10th Doctor was sad and troubled. 11th Doctor was funny with serious moments. And the 12th Doctor is just confused. Yeah, that about sums it up. But with the 10th Doctor, I think this is what made David Tennant so powerful. He had the expression in his eyes. Just what he did with his eyes alone, it made him seem like he was so pensive and he was carrying such a huge burden, you know. And then Matt Smith kind of livened it up a bit. You still felt the pain, but he wasn't as much of an emotionally burdened and tragic, sentimental Doctor. I think that's important. The 10th Doctor, if you want to have the feels. If you want tear-jerking episodes, go back to David Tennant era. I guarantee one of those episodes is gonna make you ball. I'm telling you, unless you have no soul, then I can't help you there.
Wow. One of the things that Tennant got to pick up on was the tragedy of Rose.
That's true.
From the Eccleston adventures.
Yeah, he kind of walked into that.
Yeah, that was very fortunate for him because that parting was so epic.
It was. Oh man, I'm getting chills just going back thinking about it. And I love Matt Smith, and in the end, I ended up really loving him. At first, I was a little bit apprehensive, but I loved him in the end. But I don't think he could have taken over David Tennant's era. Like if they swapped places, I don't think it would work for either one of them. I think they did get good casting in both cases there. So they did their part and their parts, and they did it well. So anyway, ready for the soft kitty?
Let's hear it, man. I love the soft kitty.
Oh, I know. Me too. Here you go.
Soft kitty, warm kitty, soft kitty, warm kitty, happy kitty, sleepy kitty, happy kitty, sleepy kitty, purr, purr, purr.
Awesome.
All right, and I think that was Jasmine that submitted that one.
I think so. Yeah, from Sweden.
Was it from Sweden?
I think it was from Sweden.
We get a lot of
We've got a global community.
Yeah, we definitely. So awesome, and I've noticed a lot of people are doing like what's the word for that? Polyphonic. There's a word for it when you have different pieces string together like that, kind of out of sync.
It's called when you have that repetitive thing, it's called a round.
Round, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Some people also say canon, but I don't think that's appropriate. I've heard that like in some music communities. I'm like, I don't think that's the right word. But round, yes, round I've heard a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So they go to rounds. But guys, it's getting to be that time. It's actually well past that time of wrapping up the main event. But we are going to do the post show. You feeling good, Stan?
I'm awesome.
Awesome. So, do you have somewhere to be tonight, this afternoon? You do, don't you?
I'll be late.
You'll be late? Okay. Just want to make sure.
Yeah.
So, we're going to take about a 5 or 10 minute break. Just to, for those folks that are here live, you'll be able to join the post show. And then for those that aren't, you'll catch it on YouTube. But just some last plugs and shout outs. I don't think we have much time for this stuff. You want to skip it today, Stan? I used to want to do the plugs.
Or we could do it in the extra.
Okay.
Let's do it in the extra.
But we do want to make sure that the most important plug is how to connect with us and keep the conversation going.
Yes.
So, TWTT can be enjoyed wherever fantastic, beautiful podcasts can be found, including but not limited to Stitcher, iTunes, Zune, Windows Phone Marketplace, kind of the same thing now, and Xbox, and TuneIn Radio. We're also on Spreaker. And thanks to Casterbarus and Trenzalore Tomb, whichever way you want to say it, and other folks for sharing our message forward and all our tweets and whatnot. AllGames.com. Join us live by clicking the live chat button. It changes sometimes, but it's the same thing. It'll take you to the IRC chat. Every Saturday, unless otherwise advertised, we'll be streaming live at noon Eastern, 5 p.m. in London, 7 p.m. in Bucharest, and 4 p.m. in Madrid?
Yes.
So, yeah, lots of ways to listen to us. And, of course, we are on twitch.tv/GeekyAntics. And you can catch me when I'm not doing podcasts or live shows, doing streaming, usually on my channel, YogiZilla. GeekyAnt.net, all the information that we just shared will be there, including recaps, storytelling, flash fiction, fan fiction, poetry, contemplations, musings, whatever you want to look at. We have all kinds of stuff there to enjoy. And be sure to leave some comments for our creatives, our Twitch streamers, our podcast hosts, and the rest of the gang. They appreciate the love. We love all the love, but let's spread the love. Quick, even if you say, I really enjoyed this, or awesome. Every little bit helps. Everybody needs encouragement. And Anything else you want to share, Stan?
The only other thing is, they can, if they do Twitter, search Twitter for hashtag TWTT, because we got all sorts of links and shout outs and, even links to our recaps and blog posts. So, yeah, check it out.
Absolutely. And also, I'll add to that, our recaps, which Stan works so hard on, will be on geekyant.net/blog, if you just want to go directly there, and you'll see them. And we'll have the shout-outs there. And just a heads up, that I believe in full disclosure. If it's a paid advertisement, we usually make it very obvious. If it's an affiliate link, we'll make it obvious. But a lot of the promotion, most of the promotion we do is out of love for other people and the belief that if you do good things will come, and if you collaborate with others and help others, they'll do the same.
Exactly.
Eventually. We don't expect it to be 50-50, but we like spreading the love as well.
Yes, we do.
Pay it forward. And I think it's important to say, I don't want people to somehow find out, oh wait, this is a affiliate link. You're just trying to make some money. Yeah, well, we gotta make a living. But most of the promotion we do right now, most of the stuff you've heard so far is just because we love people and we like sharing value with you guys.
Exactly.
So we'll go into more of the plugs in the post show, but that's it for the main event. You guys ready for some closing music and fun stuff? Who's ready? You ready, Stan?
Let's do it.
And don't forget, last but not least, you catch us on Twitter every day of the week, pretty much every hour of the day. At Yogizilla, that's me, and at Faryna, Faryna. And the network's Twitter is at GeekyAntics. And also All Games Radio, at All Games Radio. You can tweet them. So they don't do too much tweeting back on that account from what I've seen. But you can see whenever it shows went up. What's that?
Shame on them.
I know. Tim Curtis has been busy.
And
it's usually him or Tiger Claw doing a lot of the tweeting on there. Derek H needs to step up his social media game. All right.
Yeah. Tim and Tiger Claw do a lot of work for All Games, and we respect that.
Indeed. Definitely. All right, so the main event is over. Sniff, sniff. But we'll see you guys are still here live in the post show. Well, get your drinks refilled. We'll see you in about 5-10 minutes or so. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Stan, say bye.
Live long and prosper.
That works. And I'll do a very cheap ASCII representation of that in IRC.
Okay.
We thank you. Yomar and Stan, thank you. We thank you for every crumb, biscuit and cake you bring to the table. Because Doctor Who belongs to all of us. What you bring to the Timey-Wimey tea time in your live chat participation, comments, likes, shares, tweets and voicemail, all of it means the world to us. Love, true love, never fails. Do you like it? If you like what we're doing, well, tell us for God's sake. Shout it from the rooftops at GeekyAntics.net. Or call it in, 206-415-4987. That's 206-415-4987. That's it. Bless you. So long. And thanks for all the fish. Dawn, it won't be that long. Just a wee while. Because the Timey-Wimey tea time will be back. We'll return next Saturday with fresh insights, questions and epiphanies about Doctor Who. And heck yes, everything geek. Maybe same bat time. Absolutely the same bat channel. Every Saturday.
Timey-Wimey tea time. gusta.